So anyway, welcome everybody to the Mobile First Cloud First User Group of DC. We're excited about tonight's presentation because we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to the hearts of a lot of people who work in the project management space, and that's how to leverage cloud technologies for project management. So we've got some excellent speakers tonight, and it's also part of a series that we'll be doing monthly, starting here this month in March and then running through May. And then there's probably a lot more to come after this. And as you know, if you follow the Mobile First Cloud First User Group, we've got some other type of activities coming up. We're running our O365 or Office 365 adoption series with a Microsoft productivity consultant. And we've already done one of the 5-part series. So we've got 4 more left, where we're going to step through the fast track framework. So we're excited about that, and that's coming up next week. And then we also have the IT Pro Cloud Summit coming up on May 14th. And that's a Saturday in Chevy Chase. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and also check us out on Meetup. All the information about dates and links to access the webinars and then the IT Pro Camp Cloud Summit, which is an in-person event, are out there on meetup.com, Mobile First Cloud First /DC, excuse me. And then tonight's event is really the kickoff of a series for leveraging the cloud for project management. And I'm really excited about it, and I know you guys are too. And you're going to get a lot out of it. And then we're going to follow up in probably with some more sessions if the demand is high. We think it's going to be high to either these guys might break out and do their own user group, or make sure we're going to try to make sure they're at IT Pro Camp, or or have them at another project management focused type event. Also, as we head into the summer, don't forget we've got a couple of other Office 365 events around using Office 365 groups. We're doing that on July 20th and August 24th. Again, all the materials and all the information for tonight's presentation and follow-up presentations are going to be at Mobile First Cloud First, meetup.com, Mobile First Cloud First /files. So make sure you go out there, and if you haven't gone out to our website, and I'm hoping you do, we have all the information about our meetups, our files, how to RSVP for the different meetups. It's all out there. And of course, if you don't follow us on Twitter, please do that as well. So my name's Tim McLilly, and I'm a Microsoft Account Technology Strategist, and I also help run the Mobile First Cloud First User Group. And I want to introduce our 2 speakers tonight, Sean Kim and Tosh Bance. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to Tosh Bance to kind of introduce himself and then talk about the tonight's event.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. My name is Tosh Bance, and I'm a project and portfolio specialist with Microsoft in the DC metro area. And we are happy to be here tonight to be speaking to the Cloud First Mobile First Group of the DC metro area. And we're going to be covering scheduling today, and just kind of some cool things that we can do with the cloud that enable project managers to do more what they have today. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to Sean Kim, who's going to be running the presentation, and we look forward to it. Thank you.
And by the way, Sean's when he introduced me, he's a black belt in his technology, so he's very high level. He brings in like a very high level skill set. So
exactly, he's like a ninja.
We've got a heavy hitter here. We brought in a designated hitter for this topic.
He's a project ninja.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you both. I'm glad to be here as well, talking to you about scheduling in project. Let me share my deck.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make it. Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right. So yes, we're starting a series called Leveraging Cloud Technologies for Project Management. So we're talking about.
We're learning technologies, folks. Sorry.
So we're talking about cloud technologies for project management. So when you think about project management, when you think about schedule management, I think a lot of people tend to think about Microsoft Project. Microsoft Project is a software that you run on your desktop, used to run schedules, run WBS models, and Gantt charts. So a lot of people are familiar with that, and if you're not, then you may be using Excel to run your schedules and run your projects. What I wanted to make sure was that people understood, or people were aware that there are other options out there for managing projects that are more cloud-based, that are more mobile-based, cloud first, mobile first, right? And this is a new world. This is the world we live in. You don't necessarily want to be using the old tools that I started using back in 1998. So we want to talk about project management, and specifically schedule management using cloud technologies. So give you a little bit of context. I just have a few slides before I start going into the actual demo. A little bit of context into how we're thinking about project management and the work management space from Microsoft. So these are some of the trends, and these are some of the things that we've been seeing in the market today. Agile project management is huge, right? It's been huge for a while. We're starting to catch up to support agile project management, the practice and the methodology, as far as using it within our tool. We do a pretty decent job of supporting the waterfall method and the PMI, the old traditional methods, a lot better. Agile, we're catching up. So we do have some features roadmap that are coming down the pike that's going to address that specifically. That we can show you in the future. Not today. We're talking about other things today, but we can address that later on. Another thing that we see a lot is proliferation of devices, and this isn't anything new. If you're in IT, or if you're just if you're used to using iPhones or iPads, you know what this is. Everyone has devices that they want to use. You don't necessarily want to sit at your desk on a workstation or a laptop working on whatever you need to work on. You want to be able to get to your data, and do your work, whether you're on your phone or whether you're on your tablet or whether you're on some other device that doesn't really belong to you, but you have access to it. So we want to be able to support that method as well. And also consumerization of devices, or consumerization in general. I'm having in trouble with that word. Yeah, consumerization. I'm having trouble for some reason. So that we're talking about apps mainly. So everyone uses their iPhones, everyone uses their Android phones, their Windows phones, or their tablets, but everyone uses apps. It's long gone are the days where you log into a website or you open an application, for God's sake. No, you just want to start your app and do your timesheets or do whatever you want to do. You want to have a app that's dedicated or that's catered and developed just for that purpose. So that's the way that's the way consumers like to work. And consumers tend to be also in enterprise as well. So these are some of the things that we see as far as trends in project management. And these are
one thing. Yeah. I don't know about you, man, but I don't just want this app to happen. I want it now. I want to be able to see my data, and I want to be able to use it right away.
Right.
I don't have time to wait.
Of course, and that's why you kind of need the cloud. The mobile and cloud works together that way. You can't just get the data on your app if it doesn't exist somewhere you can access it wherever you are or whenever you are. So when your data lives in the cloud, as long as you have access to internet or some sort of Wi-Fi somewhere, you can get access to it. Right, so that's the beauty of cloud first and mobile first, and that's why we see this as a big trend, and we need to address it, and we are addressing it as far as project management goes within Microsoft. Now, this is how we think about the space of project and work management. So down on the x-axis, you see the level of complexity. So you think in terms of simple tasks for task management. So that can be something as simple as grocery lists or honey-do lists. And on the other extreme, you have the extreme project and portfolio management pieces. So and in between, you have your ad hoc teams and your smaller projects. You have a different plethora of different types of work that needs to be managed, whether it's complicated or whether it's simple, and we want to be able to address all of that. So we do have a solution called Project Server, Project Online that addresses the project portfolio management piece, and also your project management piece. But what we're developing and what we're coming out with are the work management and the task management piece, so that you can use a integrated system that sort of combines all of your work together, where you can get access to it from the same location, and that tracks all of it in a cohesive way, so that it tracks all of your work, no matter what kind of work that is.
So Sean, are you saying that my honey's gonna be able to give me a honey-do list on the go now? Is that what you're saying here?
No, you don't have to give her access to it. So that's totally up to you. You can keep that to yourself if you wanted to. So yeah, task management as far as Wunderlist goes, I haven't told my wife what that is. I'll tell you that. It's up to you.
Well, there's a domestic blocking feature.
Part of the fire, right?
Yep. And here's our philosophy. So comprehensive tool set, meaning that we want to provide a tool set that can be used whether you're an executive that needs to see dashboards and high-level reports and aggregated data across the portfolio or across the enterprise. That requires one set of tool set. Another set of tool set that's required is for project managers. They need to see a little more details into the projects. What's making the project slip or what's causing issues in the project. How is it tracking? Is it going to finish on time? Is it under budget? That's a different set of tools that you would need for a project manager as opposed to an executive. The same token, you also need a different set for, say, team members who may not necessarily need all the details. They just want to see their tasks. They just want to see what they're assigned to, and put updates on those tasks, and maybe do some collaboration on some of the projects that they're assigned to. Some of so they're more catered towards, more specific towards what they need to work on as opposed to the bigger picture for executives and project managers. So we want to provide a tool set that caters to everybody. Obviously, devices, we want to make sure our tool set works on as many devices as possible, whether it's Windows PCs or iPads or Android devices, and of course, cloud and on-premises. We have a history of providing on-prem solutions. We have moved on to the cloud, and we are investing heavily in the cloud now. And we are definitely within Microsoft cloud first, mobile first company. So all of our investments and all of our strategy and all of our thinking and all of our efforts are going to cloud first, and on-prem may follow depending. So with that, I'm going to go into the demo. Basically, we're talking about scheduling and using the cloud. So like I said, when you think about scheduling, you tend to think of Microsoft Project, right? You create a WBS within Project. You can track whatever changes you want within the tool. And most people are familiar or have seen a project file before, or they've seen a screenshot of it before, so they kind of understand the little task list and the WBS and the Gantt chart on the right. They understand that. What I want to show you is that I'm not going to use Project at all for schedule management. I want to use something else, a different tool, maybe something that's cloud-based, or maybe something that's mobile-based that you can use for schedule management. So what I'm showing you right now is Project Online. Project Online is a part of the Office 365 offering. So it's software as a service, and it's basically a web-enabled access to Project. And what that entails, or what that includes, amongst many other things, it does include something other than project scheduling. It includes portfolio management, resource management, BI, collaboration, a lot of things. But today we're focusing on just the schedule management piece of Project Online. Because what people may not be aware of is that, hey, you don't need to go buy Project. You can just get Project Online and do everything online on the internet. So let me show you how that will work. This is this is Project Online. It's built on SharePoint. So if you've seen SharePoint before, this will look very familiar to you. You have your quick launch and you have your live tiles. All of that is just like SharePoint. I'm going to click on Projects here. That's going to take me to what's called Project Center. And this is where, if I'm a portfolio manager or a project manager, I would see a list of all of my projects, everything that I have access to see. And some high-level information about those projects. But again, we're talking about scheduling, so I'm going to go straight to how do I create a new schedule in Project Online. So all you do simply is click on the Projects tab at the top of the ribbon, select New, And here we have different types of projects that you can pick, and this is all customizable, customizable. Is that a word? I don't think that's a word.
That's what. I can speak now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what happened. So you can customize this. So you can set up as many enterprise project types as you want, or none if you don't want to. I'm going to select the enterprise project just as an example. It's going to ask me for very basic information. What is the name of the project that you want to create? So I'm just going to say cloud project. That'll be the name of the project. Description, whatever description you wanted to add. And you notice that anything with an asterisk is required. Anything without an asterisk is not required. Start date for the project, I'm going to pick Monday. And the owner, by default, the owner is the project manager of the project, and by default, the owner is whoever's creating the project. So I can put that in, but I can just skip that because I know what it's going to be me by default. And that's it. You can select the project department, department the project belongs to. That's optional. I'm not going to pick one. And I'll just say finish. So what I just filled out is the enterprise custom fields, or the attributes of the project. You can add more attributes to a project if you wanted to for the enterprise, and that's also customizable. So it's creating the project right now. It's spinning, and it's saving that project to the cloud. This is a project online. It's a cloud service for project management. It's creating that project. What it's also doing in the background is creating a SharePoint workspace that's dedicated just for this project. So every project that you create in Project Online gets a project site, where a SharePoint site that's dedicated just for that project, which means all of the project artifacts can be saved in one central location. All of the project team members can have one location to go and collaborate on all of the details of that project. And I can show you some of those features a little bit later on. Okay, so right now I just have a simple project, and you can see just one line, right? All it tells you is the name of the project, which is Cloud Project. Start date is Monday, which is what I designated, and you see some fields. Let me show you. If I go to the project tab, actually I'm sorry. If I go to the task tab, you have different views. So if I drop down the view, these are some of the views that come out of the box, and you can see there's a bunch that's out there: assignment level views, resource level views, task level views. I'm going to select task summary, and depending on the view that you select, you'll see different columns. That's the main difference, right? So you have task summary, just gives you summary level information. So you have your task name, your duration, predecessor, start, finish, % complete, work, actual work. So this is some of the same stuff, some of the same information that you would see in Microsoft Project, but you're seeing it on the browser. Also, I don't know if you can see, but I'm using Chrome right now. So this works not just in IE. You can use Chrome, you can use Firefox, you can use IE. So you can use many different types of browsers that are available to you.
So Sean, let me stop for a second.
Mm-hmm.
How is this going to benefit me if I'm a project manager and I'm working every day, and I do have a desktop computer, and I have project loaded on the computer, but how does this really help me?
It's really all about access and just the convenience. You don't have to find your desk, or you don't have to find your laptop where a project is installed. You can get access to this data anywhere in the world as long as you have internet access to it. Most computers these days do have a browser installed, so it's not really the access is the main benefit that you have.
Okay. So if I were at a client site,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have my regular computer with me, I could look at the schedule and see what tasks I had to do that day.
Exactly. You can do that at the client site. You can do it at the library. You can do it at the airport, wherever you are that day. I had a situation just last week where somebody needed to get access to a file that they had in their email, and this person was BitLockered out of his laptop, so he couldn't get into his laptop. Well, so I just booted up my laptop and gave him access to his email through OA, which is Outlook Web App. So it's the same concept. All you need is a browser. You just log in, and this is all on Office 365, so it just requires a login password, and then you have access to the data that you have.
Okay, awesome. So basically, like, it doesn't have to be my machine. So
It does not.
I can look at my schedule, I can change the schedule, edit it on any machine I want to.
Any machine you want, as long as you know your password, right?
So no longer am I chained to my desk.
Nope.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's a new world.
It's a new world.
It's a new world out there. Yep. All right, so now we have a skeleton of a project. All we have is a project name. I'm going to build a simple WBS where I just say phase 1, let's say task 2, task 3. You notice how it's pretty responsive, right? Even though it's just a browser, it acts kind of just like the thick client. Oops, I don't want. That's confusing. So I'm going to call it task 4, task 5. I'm going to change these to auto schedule mode. Difference between auto schedule mode and manual schedule mode, I don't want to get too geeky in this presentation. Auto schedule mode enables the scheduling engine, which is the main benefit of Microsoft Project. Manual schedule mode is what I call Excel-like mode, where you can just type in whatever you want and it will just accept it. So I have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 2. I'm going to indent these, and all you do is select those. You can do Shift or Control to select multiple lines. And I'm going to click this button right here to indent. And that just made task 1, 2, and 3 a subtask of phase 1, which is now a summary task. I'm going to do the same thing for task 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to set some of these durations, and you can put in days, weeks, or months, or hours even if you wanted to. I'm just going to pick some random days here, 2, 3, 4. Now, predecessors. Main thing about Microsoft Project and even this project online is that you have the scheduling engine. The scheduling engine helps you by letting you see the impact of changes to your schedule. So you have, let's say you go through this exercise and you set up your WBS, you set up your schedule, everything's great, everything's perfect, but projects never go exactly 100% as planned. There's always changes. There's always adjustments you have to make. So if something were to happen to, say, task 1, how would that affect the rest of my schedule? Project can tell you that, and this can tell you that. The only thing is you have to set up the task relationship so that project knows how to tell you what the significance or the consequence of that change would be. So for that, all I do is, let's say I wanted to say task 2 is dependent on task 1. I just highlight the 2 tasks, and then I click on this link button up here, link tasks. If I do that, you'll notice that the number 2 now shows up in predecessors for task ID number 3. It just means that task ID number 2 is now the task predecessor for this task. You also notice that some of those cells are highlighted now in green. What that's telling you is that those are the cells that have changed. So there's something in that, some sort of data in those cells that changed based on the last action I just took. So this is great if you have a really big project or a really big schedule that you're looking at, and and there's some change that affects the rest of the schedule. Before 2007, this feature wasn't here, and then you'd have to hunt for a while to figure out what effect it had or what change was just made. Now with change highlighting, you can tell very easily what effect it had. So I'm going to link those as well. You notice in the Gantt chart as well how the project is now flowing. I'm going to make this 4, and then I'm going to link these as well. Okay, so now you can see from the Gantt chart, it's a pretty waterfall-like project, right? It starts from task 1 and goes all the way down to task 6. Everything is dependent on the previous task. It's very easy. It's an easy example to follow, and that's the main purpose right now. Now that we have our WBS set up, next thing I want to do is, actually before I get there, I want to show you a new feature that's relatively new that you may not be aware of. We have timelines. What's good about timelines is that the Gantt chart is great for project managers, not so great for executives that wants to see high-level information on where we are in the project. What does the project look like as far as the schedule goes? So that's why we have timelines. All you do there is select the task or the item that you want to show in the timeline, and then go to the ribbon and say Add to Timeline. So now we have phase 1 added to the timeline. I'm going to add phase 2 to the timeline as well. So now we have a Gantt chart for more detailed information on the project, and we have the timeline above that gives you just high level. Okay, here's phase 1, starts 3/21, ends 3/31. Phase 2 starts 4/1, 4/13. So high level information, easier to digest, easier to understand. Next, I'm going to assign resources. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and save this. The first part of assigning resources is to build a team, build a project team. So for that, you just go to the Project tab and click on Build Team. Pretty simple, right?
So Sean, while you're doing this, I have a question. Is there anything that I can't do that I can do with just the desktop client?
There's actually a lot of things that you can't do that the desktop client gives you. I mean, it's kind of like, I kind of say it's similar to how you would use Outlook as opposed to OA. The desktop client, there's a lot of advanced features like the team planner view. There's resource leveling, there's resource contouring, time-phased editing. A lot more advanced features of project scheduling that requires the client. But for simple, basic project scheduling items like I'm showing you today, that's the thin client is fine for that.
Okay.
So right now what you're seeing is the enterprise resource pool. So everything on the left here, these are all the resources that are available for the enterprise, for the company. I'm going to select some of the resources, and you can see that they're grouped by position role or by skill set. So you can see all of the accounting people here, all of the analysts, all of the consultants, creative customer, developer, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to select an analyst. Let's say I need Alex Darrow. Let's say I need Molly Dempsey. I'm going to add them to the team. So when I click Add, they get added to the right side of the box. And the right side of the box is constitutes of your project team. These are the members of the project that will have access to the schedule, that have access to the SharePoint site that's dedicated to that project, and so forth. To save and close. Now that they've been added to the project team, what you'll notice is that when I go to the resource names here, so let's say I wanted to assign somebody to task 1. When I click on that drop down, the names that you see, Alex Darrow and Molly Dempsey, they're the same names that we just added to the project team. So the drop down here is made up by the build team feature where you add people to your team. So I'm going to assign Alex to phase 1, and I'm going to assign Molly to phase 2. And you can assign multiple resources to the same task if you wanted to, just like there. Let me scroll this so you can see that you can see both. So at this point we have our WBS, we have our task relationships, we have our resource assignments. Next step is to set a baseline, so we know what we're tracking to. For that, you just go to the ribbon up at the top, click Set Baseline, and you can see that you have baseline 0 here, baseline 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have a total of 11 baselines that you can pick from. I'm going to pick the first one. You can see here it says baseline set successfully. So baseline set. Resources are assigned, WBS is formed, so this project is ready to go. At this point, I'm going to hit publish. What the hitting publish does is it sets the data to the reporting database. It also sets the assignments to the resources, which means that Alex Darrow and Molly Dempsey will now get a email notification saying that they have a new task assigned to them. This makes the task assignment official when you hit publish. All right. So let's say at this point we're chugging along on the project. We have Alex Darrow here. I'm sorry. Yes. So this is a new browser. I'm logged in as Alex. Let me see if it gives you a pop-up or not. There we go. Alex Darrow. I'm going to hit tasks on the left, and this will give me my task list. So these are all of the tasks that I've been assigned to on the various projects within Project Online. So you can see that for the planning window in progress for the current period, I'll have 3 tasks assigned to me on the cloud project, which is the one we just did. I have some other tasks assigned to me on different projects as well. I'm not so concerned about those at the moment. So let me scroll this back over. And this also gives you, what's planned, meaning, on this day, Monday, March 21st, 8 hours of work is planned for me on task 1 on the cloud project. On Tuesday, it's another 8 hours. And on Wednesday, I'm expected to work 8 hours on task 2. And so on and so forth. So it gives you exactly day by day when you're expected to put in the work for the specific task. So that's the planned row, where you would put updates on the actual row. So let's say Monday I actually worked, instead of 8 hours like I was supposed to, I worked 6 hours on task 1. And on Tuesday, let's say I worked another 6 hours. And you notice that as the actuals are going in, the planned work is adjusting accordingly. So what used to be 8 is now 6 because I put in that as the actual, and the 4 hours that are remaining has now moved through Wednesday. So that's how you put in actual task or actual task updates to your assignments. And to actually send that update, you simply select that box. And you can do this for, I'll give you the options here. You can send updates for all tasks, or you can send updates just for the selected task. I'm just going to select it for now, so it's easier for you to follow. So send update for selected task. Tells you the process. Let me give you the process here. Process status is now awaiting approval, meaning that the task update has been sent to the project manager for approval. So the PM ultimately, whether it's Project Cloud or Project on the desktop, ultimately gets the decision to accept the update and make changes to the project as required. So now I'm going back to Sarah Davis, which is the original project manager. If I hit the approvals button, notice that I have a status update waiting for me. It's for Cloud Project. It's task 1. It's from Alex Darrow. If you want to see more details, you click on that task, and it will give you more specific details about what that update entails. So this tells you actual work on 321 was 6 hours. Actual work on 322 was 6 hours. Submitted by Alex Darrow on 323. At this point, if you want to see more details, you can just check that box here and say preview updates. So this will tell you what happens if I accept this change. If I accept this task update, what happens to my schedule? Well, this is telling you that task 1, you can see the gray line here is what was before the change, and the blue line represents the new schedule after the change. You can see the previous start for task 1 was 321. Start didn't change; it's still 321, but the previous finish was 322, and now the finish is 323. So now you're slipping by a day, right? And for the project itself, the previous finish was 413, and now it's 414. So you can see that by accepting this change, you're pushing the project by a day. Let me go back here. So let's say, you know what, but actuals are actuals. What can you do? Say hit accept. So you accept the change. You go back to my project. Project. You can say, okay, all right. So let me see what's changed. What's going on with my project now? I'm going to change the view here from task summary to task tracking, and this is going to tell me what's different between the baseline and actual.
So you can see basically like what the difference is and where you are in the project.
Exactly. So the baseline is what your goal was at the start of the project. The actuals tells you what it is now and how far away you are from your goal or your target, or maybe you are on track. So the gray represents the baseline, and the red represents the fact that it's critical task. If it wasn't a critical task, you'd just be a regular blue line.
Is there any way to show me like how this project's being delayed based on the amount of work that has yet to be completed? How it's affected the baseline?
I mean, you can look at your work information. So this is a different view that you would have to look at. So let me see if there's tasks, scheduling, task, work. And these are just the out of the box. Yeah, so work, baseline work, work variance. Yeah, so anything, if you see a variance in your work or your duration or your finish, that tells you where that variance is starting or where it's happening from.
Is there any tie-in with these kind of with like what you're doing right now in Power BI? Power BI, basically tell me where you are with your actions.
Yeah, so Power BI is a good example of how executives and portfolio managers would get access to this information in a much quicker way. The good thing about Power BI and other visualization tools is that you can just flag the items that you're looking for. So if there's a variance greater than a week, you can just flag it and show it as red, and you can just focus directly on that red. And if this project is showing up as red, let me drill down and see what the details are. You don't have to actually go to the details first to see what the issue is.
So you're telling me that with Power BI and this solution, I could potentially be warned if my project is not being actually it's a week off.
Yes,
So I can make plans.
Exactly, and it's actionable because you can see what's happening. You can see that it's week off early as opposed to seeing it a month down the road where it's too late.
So I don't have to wait for somebody else to tell me. I can see myself.
Yeah. You can even log in, or you can have an email to you saying on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or whatever flag you want to trigger, and say, hey, if there's some sort of formula, and if it hits this threshold, send me an alert, send me a report, send me something, so I know there's something going on. I need to look at it and take action on it.
Wow.
Yep. Okay, so that's how you see the difference in progress or track progress on project schedules. I did mention earlier that every project gets a project site or a SharePoint site dedicated to that project. So let me show you what that sort of looks like. So again, I'm still in the same cloud project. I'm going to the cloud project SharePoint site, and this is it looks just like a SharePoint site, right? So you have your home page, you have this is a cool thing actually. Every project also gets a dedicated OneNote, so you can share all your notes, all your meeting minutes, all your collaboration, all of your pretty much everything you want to share concerning that project can be stored on a central location for OneNote. I love OneNote. I use it all the time. I know everyone in this room pretty much does too.
That's right.
Yep. Let me go back. Oops. I think I clicked back one too many times. documents. So this is your document library. Right now it's empty. You can either create a document or upload a document. All of your project artifacts could be like a requirements document. It could be a project charter. It could be a testing plan, or it could be whatever. Anything that's related to that project can be stored in the central location, so that all your project team members know, hey, if I need a document concerning this project, you know where to go. It's you can go to the project site. Same thing with the calendar. So you have a dedicated calendar for your project. You can have all your project events, milestones, or whatever, with deadlines, whatever's important to that project, you can have on the calendar. This is important for project management, risks and issues. So every project has risks, every project has issues. You need to manage them. If you didn't know, by the way, you have to manage your risks and issues, and this gives you a way to do that. So let me just show you what some of the columns are for an active risk or a new risk. So obviously a title for the risk, who will own that risk, who is assigned to that risk, different statuses, active, postponed, or closed, and you can customize these as well. Different categories for that risk, due date, probability, impact. So this is important. That tells you how, what kind of impact, exposure that risk has, right? Description for it, mitigation plan, contingency plan, and trigger descriptions. So these are just out-of-the-box built-in columns for risk management. You can add additional ones here if you want. You'll notice that this is pretty much a SharePoint list, so it's not that hard to work with. Go ahead and cancel that. And same thing or similar thing with issues, where you have different types of columns, similar but not quite the same. So title, owner, assigned to, status, which is active, postponed, and closed, categories, and priority. So again, these are all customizable. You can add more columns here to capture more of the details that you need for your organization. The good thing is that anything that's assigned to you, you'll get a notification, or you can get a notification if you want to, so that you know that, hey, a risk has been assigned to me, or an issue has been assigned to me, so I know that I need to take action on those items. So this is good because anytime you have, let's say you want to see what the risks for your projects are, you have this one list that you can go to see what those risks are, to see what those issues are. And this is also great for reporting, because you have one central location, which is Project Online, SharePoint Online, that now controls, or that now holds all of the risks and all of the issues for all of the projects in the enterprise. So if you want to see across the board what are some of the common risks that are happening across my projects, you can simply run a report on it and see what those are. And you can see that which projects are high risk, which projects are have many issues, and and run reports on those as well. So it gives you a lot of information and a lot of options as far as how you run your projects and how you can manage them more effectively across the enterprise.
Will it make predictions for you?
That's going a little bit out of my realm of expertise. Obviously, you do have predictive analysis that you can leverage on this. I would say the data is there, so you should be able to use it to predict. Certain types of risks happen, and you kind of know that's how that's gonna affect the project.
I wonder if they'll cover that. If we'll cover that in the next webcast.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Okay. So those are that's basically what I wanted to show you as far as scheduling goes with Project Cloud. So as you can see, there's some options you have as far as scheduling on the browser, without using a project client. We do have some options for apps as well, so I can show you I can't actually show you the apps because honestly I don't have iPads and iPhones, but I can show you some screenshots of what they actually do look like. So here's one. This is a dashboard app that are used mainly for executives, right? It works on your iPad. So it gives you high-level portfolio dashboards for the different types of projects that are running across your enterprise. So you can see that you have project cost information up here by the enterprise project type. So by different project types, what are the costs? You have your schedule and work and cost KPIs for the different projects broken out by department. what the variance numbers are for those. And these are actually, they should be available soon. They were released last week actually, but apparently it takes some time for it to go through the store before it's actually available for you to download. So it should be out soon. I can't say exactly what day, but soon. And these apps are, you can click on them, draw down, get more details on them.
So what you're saying basically is I could go to a meeting with my iPad and be able to see the variance in the schedule.
Yes.
For a specific project.
Yes.
And be able to tell my boss what's going on right away instead of waiting for a report to happen.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, I've been to a lot of customers where the current process was that someone puts together a report. They gather all the information from different people that hold different types of information, and it takes them 2 weeks to run through this process to produce a report that says report as of 2 weeks ago, and they give it to their boss. What good is data that's 2 weeks old? You know,
I agree.
So this is live data at the snap of your finger, really. Literally, just by touching the screen, you can see different types of data that you're looking for. So it's much more quicker, faster, easier, better. I mean, I don't know. I don't have one adjective.
And plus, it's interactive too.
It's interactive. So yeah, you can touch it.
You can make it whatever you want it. You want it to be.
Yep. Actually, I don't know if I should share this, but what I've been told by the engineering team is that they had an actual use case, a real use case from Starbucks, a Starbucks executive for this app.
I can't stand Starbucks. Just kidding.
Sidebar.
I love Starbucks. Who makes Starbucks? Come on now.
Everyone loves coffee, right? So the executives from Starbucks gave them the use case. Hey, I want an app that I can use to get access to my data in a very easy and convenient way, to the point where I only be able to sit on the toilet and see my data. That was the exact words use case. So that's what they built.
Wow. Sounds like here's a lot of coffee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, coffee does have that effect, right? So let me go back here. This is a different app. This is a companion app for project managers. So again, a comprehensive tool set, meaning we have different tools for different roles. So this gives you a little more details, not as many graphs and sorts, but it gives you a more granular level of information on the project. So how many active risks you have, how many tasks you have that are in the past, that are overdue, how many are slipping, so on and so forth. And obviously you can click on these and get additional details on that as well. And lastly, we have the Timesheet app, and this is probably my favorite out of the group. How many times do you go home and realize, oh, I forgot to do my timesheet, or I forgot to put an update on my task? Dang it! Now I got to find the laptop. Now I got to find something where I can log in and update the data. Well, yeah, a VPN, direct access. I mean, direct access is awesome, but it still takes some time, right?
It does. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
So now you have a phone app. You whip out your phone. You're probably staring at your phone, surfing the internet anyway. Start the app and put in your updates.
So what you're saying is that I'm going to go to dinner with my wife, and I'm going to put my time in, and she's going to smack me at
no,
dinner because
she will
I'm
not.
not paying attention to her, but I'm looking at my phone.
No, because this will only take you 5 seconds to update, so you can do it while she's running to the bathroom or something. So yeah, it's very convenient. It can even give you reminders before it's too late, so you can update before midnight and all that. So this is also coming out very soon. It's an IP that we acquired from a partner company, so it's a matter of just branding and releasing.
Excellent. Yeah, just a quick clarification. I'm going to ask Vanessa a question.
There's an
app.
There's a timesheet app, but
no project app for the phone right now.
No project app right now for the phone.
Okay.
Yes.
Still a robust.
Now, so Project Online is mobile browser enabled, so you can actually browse to the URL within your phone and get access to the same sort of grid that we were looking at. I imagine it may be a little bit difficult to do that in a phone just because of the real estate.
Yeah, the experience is not going to be great.
Yeah.
Unless you have a monstrous phone.
I kind of do, but
yeah, I do too.
Right, and then a follow-up question about the security
aspect of having all that data on your phone, looking at things like encryption and all that stuff. So
Yeah, so Project Online is built on top of Office 365, so it leverages the same compliance and security and all of the rigors that Office 365 goes through. So security is obviously a big concern for cloud. It's a big concern for Microsoft. It's something that we invest heavily in ourselves. I think last year we spent over $1 billion just on security alone. So
that was my bonus.
Yeah, mine too. But Sean, to your point, it's our bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean, so let me ask you, where do you keep your money? Do you keep your money in a bank, or do you keep your money underneath your mattress?
I'm not going to tell you where I keep my money. I'm just kidding. No, of course it's in a bank.
Exactly. And my point being is that at Microsoft, we regard ourselves as a bank. We take the utmost responsibility of protecting your data, and that is core to our business, and it really is our future.
Security is paramount. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What? We have quite a few. We have some questions here from some of our participants. You want to hit those?
Yeah, sure. Let's do
Thank
it.
you for
Some
great
great
content,
Sean
and Tosh.
Now we
We have
have
Mr.
Mr.
George
Carlisle,
Carlisle,
friend of mine from the user group
community.
has
Has
teed off a few. So in the interest, George, love you, but in the interest of time and respect for folks' count, we're going to tee off a couple of these. And I'll try to read these off for. It's actually in the chat window in Skype, so that I don't have to be a clumsy reiterator of the question. Just there you go. But, you know, sorry. I know. I was coaching equivalent on Skype. The nerve.
All right.
So
let's just tackle number one and see what we get.
Okay. Setting this up with SharePoint was complex. What are the hard limits of Project Web? Yeah, so I mean that kind of hits the crux of why you want to go. One of the advantages really of going to cloud. You don't have to worry about setting up SharePoint, SQL, Active Directory, and Project Server on top of that with all of the ports and security. So yeah, that's all taken care of by Project Online. All you do is create a subscription. You get a URL. And that's it. You just open the browser, go to the URLs, log in, and you're in. So that's one of the main benefits of going software as a service cloud anyway.
All right, thank you. I think we have this question kind of answered from another question from Vanessa. Is there a project app for mobile now? Android, iOS, and Windows Phone?
Project app for mobile. So the Timesheet app works for both Android, iPhone, iOS, and Windows. The Project Manager app and the Dashboard app, those were for iPads and iOS.
So do they work for the phone too? With
Yes.
iOS?
Yes.
Okay.
Works for the phone too.
Okay.
Let's see. Can other users see? Oh, excuse me.
Can other users see and read the plans,
project plans without a license?
No. So, well, unless you save it off and send it to them separately, offline, then obviously they can see that. But if you want them to log in and see it on the web, they would need to be licensed to see that.
But if you export them though, you kind of defeat the whole collaboration purpose, right?
Exactly. Then all you're doing is showing them a screenshot of your plan, and
exactly. They can actually interact with it.
Wasn't there a famous book, New York Times bestseller for the business class called How to Build a Dynasty off of using Notepad for projects?
I don't know.
Are add-ins supported? And
yes, add-ins are supported. Some of the apps that I showed you are there actually are add-ins for the dashboards. Where you can actually see them in the browser, not in an app. And we actually have, Microsoft Project has a big, huge partner ecosystem, and a lot of them have add-ins that do amazing things for Project.
Excellent. All right.
Next one
teed up here.
Number 6.
Oh, excuse me. Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess you use SharePoint as the back end. So I guess I can assign more server resources if I need to give it more gas.
Yeah, so if you're talking about an on-prem deployment where you're talking about Project Server and SharePoint, then yeah, it's just a matter of setting the capacity correctly on the SharePoint servers. With the cloud service, with Project Online, again, that's taken care of for you. So, we have. Actually, do you have Do you know how many users we have in Project Online?
How many users? No, I don't.
It's a huge number. It's a huge number, and so the scale and capacity is taken care of for you, automatically, and adding more users for an organization should be just a blip on the radar.
All I know is we have it turned up, baby.
Excellent, excellent.
Oh yeah.
So does this support, we're talking about security earlier, does this support RMS?
So RMS is as part of the Office 365 suite. It does support that, but it doesn't go into actual project data. So you can't lock down project data using RMS, but you can lock down the project artifacts that are in the SharePoint sites with RMS.
Key distinction. Okay,
Great,
well,
great.
well, thank you.
Number seven,
is there a guide that features the differences between Project Pro, Project Web, and Project Online? Here's the comments, but he hears on the street here that there's a limit of, let's see, seven org plans or something in Project Online.
Mhm.
I think I'm slaughtering your question, George.
So yeah, I think that the number 7 you're talking about is pertaining to instances of PWA. So what I just showed you is Project Online, but within Project Online you have different you have various instances, and each instance is a separate PWA. That I know that kind of sounds confusing, but basically when you buy a subscription of Project Online, you get a Office 365 and Project Online tenant, and within that tenant you have up to 7 instances that you can use for Project Online. So you can set up an instance for your enterprise. And most companies do this, is they set up one production instance for all their production data, and they set up a separate production instance for tests, and a separate production instance for dev. So they end up using 3 out of the 7. So 7 instances of project is really more than enough for most organizations. Because you can have many projects within an instance. It's not like you can only have a few. You can actually get more than 7 if you ask for it. But yeah, I can't say. Yeah.
We've had other instances where no pun intended when I say instances, where we've had customers actually surpass those limits.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you actually make a request to Microsoft, and we will grant you some more space there.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a lot of use cases for why you would need more than 7, but if there is, you can get it.
If you're a global company, 100,000 plus employees, you probably need more.
Yeah, scale out. This might have been addressed, but number 8, can project updates be sent to Power BI for managers? I'm assuming, can that project data be sent up in a refreshed Power BI dashboard? Might be the core.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So Power BI can be made to refresh every hour. And so it'll pull that data directly from Project Online and write it into Power BI. So you can look at your Power BI dashboard and boom, that data is correct up to that hour.
Talking about Power BI, just to circle back briefly, Power BI is being built into everything, OMS, to people's enterprise portals. I mean, it's such a gateway technology to everything else because people don't often have such powerful sets of tools to mine their data and really take a look at the relationships between project data, app team development data, infrastructure performance data. So we're really excited about Microsoft about all the innovations around Power BI. And we might wind up doing a Power BI catch-up session out of this user group in a couple of months, just to kind of catch everybody.
Definitely, yeah. Power BI is a really powerful tool. And the best part about it, like you said, Tim, is the ability you can merge data sets together. And you can unlock key insights that you never even thought about before.
Exactly.
And then you match that with predictive analytics, and it's a whole different experience. You're actually getting recommendations on what you should be looking at.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
And then we have the last question here from George. Can you filter views and rights to parts of the plan and in OneNote? I'm maybe messing this question. I have contractors on a job. I just need to see their part, not my whole. I need them to see their part, not my whole plan or their notes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all role-based permissions. So simply you would just set them up as team members, and all they would see are the tasks that they're assigned to. They may not even need to see the project at all, just the tasks that they're assigned to. So you can control permissions that way. You can definitely set up views for different parts of views for different columns of the projects and resources as well. So yeah, that's definitely doable.
Excellent. So do we,
thank you for the questions,
George and Vanessa. Did we cover everything you guys wanted to talk about in terms of Q&A?
So George has got one more question.
No, George, thanks a lot.
We'll pull up.
You're welcome, George.
Thank you.
George
And Vanessa, thank you, Vanessa.
and just
thank you guys for attending tonight. And remember, we've got this series that's going to roll forward to April 26th, May 24th. We've got another series on Office 365 adoption. Sounds like we're going to plug in a Power BI one coming soon.
And
don't forget about the IT Pro Camp on May 14th.
I'm going to go out to our website just real quick. Not going to belabor the point too much, but if you're wondering what's going to happen, let's say you really want to see the session, but you got here late, or you have a buddy that wanted to see the session. There's a couple things you can do. Are the slides NDA? Or are they public available? Remember, we put our slides out here on mobile first, cloud first in the files area, so we'll upload those over the next couple of days. Also, we have a YouTube channel, and we put all of our content on our YouTube channel, our recorded content, excuse me. And you can get to the YouTube channel right here. Am I saying YouTube? Huge. YouTube. In other words, it's a channel. It's got content. So we have this YouTube channel where you can go and check out previous meetings. We've got our Office 365 series, and we're going to put this awesome project management series up on YouTube.
So George, Vanessa, tell your friends. Power BI is our next stop here, and we.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and say good night to everybody. If you have follow-up questions, just let me know. Follow us on Twitter. Tell your friends about the session. And we'll see you guys next month. And George, I'll probably see you next Monday at the Northern Virginia SQL Server User Group, which is right here in Reston, Virginia. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Hold on one second.